They had no understanding of North Korean psychology, which is that simply made them more determined to resist the pressure and show that they would not be cowed down by the mighty superpower.
Carter has averted a military showdown. In exchange for oil and other sources of energy and the eventual normalization of relations with the United States, the North Koreans agreed to freeze their nuclear program. But while the terms of the agreement are being negotiated, an unexpected event rocks North Korea. Kim Il-sung suddenly dies of a heart attack. The shock is felt even by those aware of his abuses who have escaped to the south.
When Kim Il-sung died, I wept. I really mourned. I couldn't believe it. He seemed immortal. Many died from excessive mourning and weeping.
I felt, okay, this is the end. We are finished. I thought we wouldn't be able to carry on without Kim Il-sung.
The new leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-il, lacks his father's charismatic command. Many predict that his government will soon collapse, but he is determined to retain power at any cost.
This is a man for whom regime survival is fundamental. And so he will do what he needs to do to stay in power in terms of the control over his people, the lack of human rights, and some of those things are quite horrific.
또 하나는 이제 국가안전보위부의 보위부 체계를 The national security system has been strengthened under Kim Jong-il. The political surveillance expanded. In the past, people were taken away, imprisoned with discretion, but now they just don't care. They openly pick up people and then put them in prison, and they disappear without leaving a trace.
Many disappear into a system of prison camps, hidden between the mountains near the northern border. The only known photographs of the prisons themselves are satellite pictures. These sketches were drawn by former prison guard An Myung-cha.
I was a prison guard for 8 years, and I saw brutal stuff. Think of Auschwitz during World War II. In Auschwitz, they specialized in killing people fast. In North Korea, they kill them as slowly as possible. They told me that the inmates were political criminals and disloyal, so if they attempted to escape, we could shoot them to death.
In 1994, An learns that his father has been overheard criticizing Kim Il-sung. He knows he will have to escape North Korea or face dire consequences.
I had done nothing wrong. My father was branded as a traitor, and then he was killed. My mother was also accused of being a traitor and put in prison. My brother was killed too. So I had to escape somehow, even if that meant death.
The Duman River marks the border between North Korea and China. It is patrolled by North Korean agents who often shoot to kill people trying to escape. After several attempts, An makes it safely to the other side. Others are not so fortunate. Despite the risks, by the mid-90s, an increasing number of people attempt to flee North Korea, not only because of the growing repression, but primarily because of the country's ever-deepening economic crisis.
They're in economic trouble, partly because they don't run their economy very well. But by the mid-90s, you then have a series of natural disasters, floods, etc., that lead to serious famine.
But these tragic conditions do not deter Kim from extravagant spending on his vast military forces.
He starves his people at the expense of providing for his military. 30 to 50% of the North Korean gross domestic product goes to the military.
In 1998, North Korea launched a rocket over Japan. It created a huge outcry, not only because it went over Japan, but because, unbeknownst to our analysts in advance, it turned out to be a three-stage rocket. If that three-stage rocket had been successful, which it was not, it fell into the sea, it very soon could have reached the continental United States.
The White House is stunned. The hope for a peaceful progression in relations has collapsed on both sides.
When North Korea made its nuclear freeze agreement with the U.S. in 1994, we got up front what we wanted.